Welcome to One Way to Machines and the 8th Gen Honda Civic series. In this video, I'll be discussing one way the starter on these 8th Gen Civics goes bad. We're going to look more in depth into the starter. If you're looking for a DIY video, the best one I've found so far on jack stands is from a channel called Fast Fix, so you'll want to check that out. But stay tuned for this video as there's useful information for all of you 8th Gen Civic owners. We are also going to go over sounds that the car was making with the old starter that had a problem, and sounds with the new starter, which is fine now, and the brand of starter that you can go with and be confident that it's going to work just fine. TYC is a great brand for Honda aftermarket parts. This TYC brand new starter on Rock Auto, it doesn't require a core, it's affordable, and it's a great product. You'll see in the startup clip how quickly it starts the car. This product is the same for both manual transmission and automatic transmission 8th Gen Civics. One of the most dreaded issues for 8th Gen Civic owners is the rattle that comes from the belt tensioner. This job can turn into a nightmare of a job. Stay tuned on the channel. I'm going to go over things that I did and what symptoms to look out for in order to possibly do this job much easier than the way most videos do it. So subscribe if you haven't for that. Let's go over the starter that I pulled from the black Civic now. The following two clips are to show that this problem is intermittent on these Civics and you should still look after it. But you'll see in the first clip, you can pay attention to the mileage. It is on the same day, and one time when it starts, it'll start perfectly fine. Then another time, it'll make that nasty screeching sound. I want you to really listen for it because unfortunately, I was in a rush that day and I held the microphone too close to one of the beepers on the car. So try to filter out the beeping sound and listen for that sound that you're going to hear from the starter not engaging with the gear on the motor properly. There are videos out there that show this problem with the loose shaft more pronounced. It's not as pronounced on this starter, but it was a very consistent problem, especially towards the later stages when I decided I definitely need to change a starter. I waited a long time for this, but the reason you shouldn't wait a long time, by the way, this is the shaft that we're talking about. I'll zoom in after. But the reason you need to do this as soon as you start hearing this sound is because it can be something that can possibly total your car. In the sense of you don't want to do a full engine and trans pull. Because if you don't address this and the gears on this scrape the gear on the motor side too much, you can wear down either one and you're going to have to pull the trans and motor as a unit in your garage. Big job, and you're going to have to change a lot of parts, which might not be worth it with the age that some of these cars have. We're going to zoom in here now. Alright, so luckily for me there was no damage on this actual gear here. It may look like it's damaged, but I already put the new one in so I don't have it to show you guys. But even if you go on Google and you look at a lot of images of a new TYC or Honda starter, these odd edges that you see at the end are part of the design. Okay, so don't think that you've scraped it with that. Now, let me see if I can get a good angle. Now, the sound it makes here, that's normal. But the amount that it moves on the shaft, hopefully you can see it, it's very minimal on mine. But even with this problem, okay, whether it's more internal or whether mine is out here, there was a major problem. And the new starter fixed it. So even if I'm not correct in the sense of exactly where this starter had failed, know that it's time to get a new starter. Get the new starter, it'll be fine. That's what happened for me. So we could tear down this starter more later and possibly look for exactly where it was, because this one doesn't have as much major shaft movement as what I've seen in other videos. So just take it for yourself. Be on the safe side, get a new starter, even if we don't go further in depth in this. This next clip is going to be with the TYC starter at 280,000 kilometers to show you how smoothly it turns on the car. And in the past 3,000 kilometers of driving with the new TYC starter, there has not been one scraping sound on startup. So you can take it as a safe bet that this is something you should do.